The name is Collen Sedibe. On the hot seat today we have the EFF national issues, and we're able to discuss what his thoughts are on the province as well. We have his honourable, must I say honourable, chairperson. How are you, Mr. Collen Sedibe?
Well, thanks, and you.
Thank you very much for coming. I know you guys have been busy, political and all that, but thank you so much for making time here.
Welcome.
All right, now we're coming through live from BMW, and what is view here in Nelspruit, and what we want to discuss with you as a leading party, or the leading opposition party for that matter. What do you think the province has done correctly, so before we criticize, but correctly so, in terms of the COVID-19 epidemic?
Well, thank you, Pelani, and thank you for the opportunity. Yes, we are not only the opposition party, but the official opposition here in Mpumalanga. Look, there is nothing much except bringing politics in this whole issue of COVID-19 that the ruling party has done, because we have warned them as the EFF from the beginning of this COVID-19 that we need to lock down and not ease the lockdown rules so that we ensure that all the measures are in place and we kept the spread of the water. More especially because if you look to the issue of Tema Hospital, where in 14 nurses and doctors has been infected, and how many more, because these nurses and doctors are directly in contact with patients and so forth, and they're coming from the families. We have a situation where in Matsulu, we have 3 learners that have been affected after reopening of the schools. And look, we warn them, we caution them, or rather, as the EFF, to say that do not reopen school, do not ease the lockdown rules, let's stay home so that we kept the spread of this coronavirus before it's late.
But do you think us not opening up the economy, wasn't that going to affect our provincial GDP?
Look, the economy depends on the people and the livelihoods. So if the people are affected or are dying and there's no livelihoods, there will be no use for that economy. So it's not important to open up the economy while the people are going to die. So which people is the economy going to serve in the process?
Do you think that the relief fund that is 500 billion that was promised, has it come and it's filtered through the people of Mpumalanga?
Well, we see in the schools there have been fumigations. When the schools reopen, we see in the government sanitizers in each and every door or entry point, and we see there are what you call a mask and so forth. We don't know it's enough, but there will be time for accountability for that money, because every cent must be accounted for in terms of the spending. But what I can say, I've observed in few hospitals, the doctors and the nurses are wearing the coveralls and in the gowns, which is very good, so that they too must not be affected or infected as it happened in Temba Hospital.
Now, a few days ago, the AG, the Auditor General, released a report on the expenditures that is happening within the municipalities. Do you think, are we doing enough to keep this unnecessary expenditure as the province?
Not at all. Not only in the province, but the whole country, the entire country. You will note that out of the 257 municipalities in the country, only 20 got clean audit. What do you call that? And whilst here in Mpumalanga, we've got 20 municipalities, 3 districts and 17 local municipalities. Out of them, only 3 got clean audit, but with matters of emphasis and opinions. So it's not a clean audit as such. So it's been a problem that has been going through for quite a long time, and it has been proven beyond reasonable doubt that under the ANC government they won't get it right, not a single year.
But if I have to give you a premiership position now and say cut down the irregular expenditure, what are the 2 things maybe you could say I can just change this and this for me to cut down the irregular expenditure? What are the things that EFF can say, we can put it as recommendations for that matter?
You know, irregular expenditure are caused by procurement of goods and services that are not planned for. So you can't buy something that is not planned for. That's what is called irregular, something that you buy haphazardly, which is not part of the budget and part of the plan, into the plan. Each and every financial year beginning, it must serve a strategic planning session where you plan and budget for whatever we are going to do and procure in that financial year. That's how government should be run. It should not be as and when somebody thinks and buy a sweets now or a pen now.
Welcome back right here on the hot seat. The name is Collen Sedibe. I'm your host on NEWSHORNTV. We're speaking to the EFF Provincial or Mpumalanga's Chairperson, Mr. Collen Sedibe, and who is the official opposition party. Now, what I also want to understand from the EFF, your future plans in terms of your manifesto. Where are you going as EFF? I know that in the past you've been talking about land, but right now EFF is quiet on that matter. Your take, please.
No. We are not quiet on land. Land is on top of our agenda. It's a priority of the EFF. If you go to our manifesto, as we've mentioned, our funding manifesto,
yes,
we've got 7 non-negotiable cardinal pillars. And on top of it is the expropriation of land without compensation for equal distribution. We are still there. It's us who pushed the amendment of Section 25 of the Constitution in Parliament.
Yes.
We even issued a statement today because Parliament want to change the ad hoc committee on the amendment of Section 25, which we don't agree because there've been a committee. The people who have been derailing, or the organization which has been derailing the process of the amendment of Section 25 to allow for the expropriation of land for without compensation is the ANC itself, though it brought in our motion, which we raised in Parliament 2 years ago for that. So we are still intact with the 7 non-negotiable pillars, including the nationalization of mines and other strategical sectors of the economy, including the banks and the ESCOM and other state-owned entities like SAA and so forth and so on. We're still there on the issue of quality health care,
yes,
and education for all our people, and a corrupt-free, transparent and open government that is accountable to the people without fear or favor. But moreover, we are still insisting, as in our manifesto, funding manifesto, that there should be free, quality, decolonized education from grade R until to tertiary level.
Okay, now the one thing that I've noticed as well, maybe in the past week or so, there was a huge judgment that came out from the Constitutional Court where they talked about independent candidates. How is that going to affect the EFF going forward when they say anybody, even if they are not associated to a particular party, they can come? Does EFF support that judgment? Yeah,
well, we welcome the judgment. You remember that the EFF is the only organization that respects the courts and the law. So there's no way that we can defy whatever the law has made as a judgment or come to a conclusion. And we don't see a problem with regard to each and every independent candidate. Good luck on that. But we are still intact. We're going to contest as the EFF with our President and Commander-in-Chief, being Julius Malema, as the head and face of our elections.
All right, so talking about elections, are you also, as a province, what is your plan on the EFF elections campaign come 2021, because it's local elections coming through?
Well, there's a confusion, but we have made a call as the EFF that the elections must be moved. The 2021 election must be moved to 2024, so that we combine both the local government elections and the provincial and effective.
What is going to happen?
What is going to happen in the next few months?
I know that the Constitutional Court has given Parliament 24 months to come up with the mechanism that is going to work on the elections, on the candidature elections. Now let's move to the last question, almost just rounding off, since you are very busy. I don't want to hold to that. What I also want to ask you, I know that you've been a chairperson in the province for the almost 2 terms or so.
Of course, yeah.
Ambitions, going national?
Well, it's only the delegates that decides about its leaders. For now, they said you must serve here as the chairperson. So we'll see it when we cross that bridge.
All right. I like that. We're speaking to the Mpumalanga, EFF Mpumalanga chairperson, Mr. Collen Sedibe. Mr. Collen, let's come back to the thing of gender-based violence. Now, I know that I've been hearing you on various platforms talking about it. What is your take on gender-based violence that is happening in our province, even so, but also throughout the entire country?
Yeah, it's very bad and very disturbing. It's uncalled for. And what our fellow men are doing to women is not supported. It cannot be supported and appreciated altogether. We are affected as men in one way or another,
to a traumatized nation.
Back to all of us. That's why we are saying not in our names. We have to roll up our sleeves and make sure that wherever this to attack it as a matter of fact, the same way we're dealing with the racism. It's very bad. It's a very bad issue. Always stories, men killing women. I was touched by the second case of Marabian in Dr. J.S. Morok, where a lady was raped but was afraid to report the rape to the boyfriend, and the boyfriend then killed the lady for not reporting that rape. So that woman has suffered double jeopardy from a rapist to also to as we plead the same to speedily raise those abuses as they arrive as early as possible. They must not delay and say maybe today my man is drunk or will finish, because some they keep quiet for a long time until they are dead. But also neighbors must play a very critical role in terms of monitoring each other in the household, in terms of the abuses, because it happens where we are staying. We know how our neighbors are treating each other, and we also keep quiet as neighbors. But the police must also stand firm against all those involved in gender-based violence, including the murderers of women, and they must be sentenced to life, because that is uncalled for.
Does the EFF then support death penalty?
Well, we don't support death penalty because life sentence is deemed also as a death penalty. Because South Africa is a Christian country. If we are supporting death penalty, then who will kill? Because we are not allowed to kill. Death penalty means there's somebody who must be responsible for killing. And it will remind us of the apartheid past, because in the past, death penalty dealt with misjudgment or wrong judgment. You can even be hanged for wrong reasons and so forth.
As the official opposition party, just rounding off right here on NEWSHORNTV, I just want to find out, as EFF Provincial Chairperson, do you get to sit with the ANC chairperson as well in terms of discussing just a way forward? Is there anything like that so that our viewers will know at home you guys even share ideas, or is it only in Parliament?
No, we don't share any ideas party to party except in Parliament. But except where for instance, there is an ANC group interrupting a EFF activity.
Right.
We then take a call and call whoever leader is responsible for that region and so forth to calm down their people and make sure that there is no confrontation within the people from these two organizations.
The reason I'm asking, I just want to understand in terms of how are we, which part is lacking, which leg are we lacking, so that we can be able to move forward. If it's from the EFF coming as saying, this are the offers on the table, this is how we can help as us as EFF. So you're saying your doors are open for any ideas.
Well, a good leader is a good listener. You listen to anyone with good ideas and implement them. If they are working, then you implement them to resolve whatever problem it is. Like we advise them also in Parliament many a times. We are the advisors of the ANC. ANC does not have minds. It's only us who think and then they act. If you have followed us since our inception.
All right, we say thank you very much to the EFF chairperson, Collen Sedibe, and for coming through, especially on this visit. But let me ask you the last question. Should ANC clean up its act? Will you go back?
No ways, we are not going back. We forward ever, as a cheek.
Thank you very much to the chairperson, Mr. Collen Sedibe.